So hiring is really like dating.
It really is. It really is. But quite one-sided dating in a sense. It's like interviewing a sugar baby. Really.
What makes a workplace toxic? This is your daily catch-up. Hey guys, if you're liking the content so far on the channel, remember to subscribe and even drop us a like. It really helps. So there's this new IG page, right, called we'll flash it up, and they featured a post by someone who basically shared why they quit their full-time job as an architect.
Right.
There were a lot of different reasons. Some of it was that, not enough guidance, and so like they felt like their superiors were way too busy for them. They were no longer enjoying what they were doing. But one thing that kind of stood out was that it was taking a toll on not just their physical health but their mental health as well, because like it was a very high and like demanding workload, and they were OTing a lot. And then they didn't feel like they were being well compensated for like all that lah. Which kind of brings into the topic of like toxic workplaces in that sense. And it might seem very subtle because whatever example that I just gave you can happen anywhere.
Yeah.
But it can build up and it can like create a lot of stresses or anxiety for like someone lah.
For me, having this conversation with
No, so I think this article was on this posting was quite interesting to me, right? Because I have quite a few friends in this industry also, and they work until like whole day, whole night kind of. I've spoken to them before, and we talk about like trying to find work-life balance and that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
But then the more I understand, right, the more it's just that is the way their industry is. Yeah, and a lot is expected of architects, and it's very scary doing architecture because
buildings may
design
collapse.
normally, right? You kill people, no? Yeah. So
That just occurred to me.
A lot's on the line lah, yeah.
there's just no escaping it all. So I'm wondering, like, what is wrong? Or why would people even choose to join this industry then?
No, I just feel like, I think in every job there's always that dream, that best case scenario, and then there's the reality. Like I think to be an architect, you start seeing amazing buildings and you go, on one day I want to build a skyscraper.
Yeah.
It's the same as being a vet, right? Most of them start off as animal lovers. They love animals. 90% of their time is putting down animals. And then it's just like, what the
Oh, that sucks, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks, yeah.
So like the illusion of the job doesn't match that initial dream, I feel like.
My initial thought was that it's so interesting that mental health is such a big consideration in whether or not you move between jobs and all that. Like, I feel like last time this is not a thing. Like nowadays people will say, I need to take a mental health break. And they take like a 1 week break, that kind of thing. But last time this thing doesn't exist.
No, plus I feel like now workers now are so entitled to be like asking things of their companies now, which I think is a good like progression lah. But I can't imagine my dad like in the 70s like desperate for a job so he can earn money to support his family to be like, I demand that you give me purpose in life, that kind of thing. It's like, I just need money.
Yeah.
Actually, that's interesting. Like, we are relying on work for purpose of life also, which is something that John always talks about. So
To not do.
yeah, to not do. Which many people do.
Yeah.
Like, work is where they find a lot of joy, and I think like for myself also included.
Yeah.
So speaking of like toxic workplaces, right? There was also a recent IG post that I think was it was a DM that was shared by a film director in Singapore, and talking about how like productions in Singapore in particular is so like unhealthy, or like production assistants, assistant directors, like they are so unfairly treated. So like an example that they kind of talked about was that in all these productions, they tend to hire a lot of interns to save costs. But then when you hire interns who are brand new and are not normally on sets, right, they're obviously going to make mistakes.
Yeah,
they're going to make mistakes, and then the bosses will start to blame them for everything just like falling apart. But they are new in the first place, and so like the blame game just keeps pushing around, even though it was like their fault to begin with.
I've heard of like horror stories from the production world, so like the legit production world where there's a bunch of hierarchy and this kind of thing.
Are we very not legit?
You cannot. No, it's very different. Like it's very
like
different.
TV
Yeah.
kind of
Traditional lah.
The traditional production houses. Then right, it's like you cannot talk to the director. You cannot talk. You cannot talk to the people like above you. You have to really follow the hierarchy. Right? Then if you talk to them, right, they will ignore you, or you will tiokan, right?
Yeah.
Then your whole chain of command will also tiokan.
Wow.
And all of them have to go through a similar type of progression in order to slowly make your way up until eventually you can do something that you want to do. It never made sense to me that I need to go through that ladder to become a director. And I've seen other people do it different ways now. There are other ways to get there. Yeah. So it didn't make sense. It has never made sense to me. Like, why would I go and put myself through that shit?
But do you think like having a flat management structure is better? Like say for example us, like clearly he's the boss, so he's sitting here with us, he's basically our friend also, right? So and then
Yes.
I hope so.
Yeah, so it brings into question like with the fact that those are traditional production houses and with the architectural industry being somewhat like older in terms of
Right.
its structure now, right? When I saw that post and I read the comments, right, a lot of them are saying the same things and they're agreeing with her also. So if it's a common issue already, then should some authority or should they themselves be trying to look at it and trying to change it? Because it seems like an unhealthy industry and unhealthy environment to work in.
Like, do you think it's like the architectural company's fault? Based on the rent there, I feel like, okay, the excess OT is wrong, right? Because you are being paid for this amount of hours, but then being asked to work longer than these hours, I feel like that portion is wrong. But the fact that, for example, if your mentors did not have enough time to teach you, don't you feel like that is not the company's fault?
You never asked lah. You never.
It's not that I never asked. I feel like you are being hired because we need good minds on a certain project. I need you to come in and help me. This is not a school. Yeah.
Fair enough.
You coming in to help me.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time to teach you. I need you to be able to learn on your own. And if you feel like this is a place that you cannot learn as much as you want to,
Then it's on you to leave.
change.
Yeah. So actually speaking on change, right? You came across an article that's quite interesting.
my friend actually sent it to me earlier today, just nice. So it talks about how do you know when it's time for a change, right? Like how do I know like whether I'm actually stagnating or it's just my feelings are fickle. I'm just not feeling as excited about the job as like when my first month, right? So then they talk about how there was this tweet that was asking people about what was your career's like biggest mistake, and most of the people actually replied saying that they didn't leave the company earlier. Like they stayed at the same place for too long. So the article's titled How to Waste Your Career One Comfortable Year at a Time.
Right.
Yeah, and then it talks about like basically like to keep that like hustle to want to push yourself to make yourself uncomfortable and then like be in that spot where you are learning things. And then he has this framework, right, that talks about how you can evaluate. So 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. So
Oh, they didn't number it. What a lazy article.
Point form.
yeah. So 1 is accomplishment. Have you done anything noteworthy these last 3 months?
Wow, 3 months I also never say me.
No, it can be a no. So it becomes a table, then you tabulate, and then you see like the percentage. So if like these 5 things, each thing is 20%.
Right.
So then if you are 60%, right, then it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
1 second is impact. Would I write a line in my resume about the work that you've done in these past 3 months?
Right.
Which means, is this like something that is valuable work experience that you're gaining, right? Number 3, growth/future alignment. Have I acquired valuable skills that are aligned with my future goals? Right. So if I know in future I want to say be a film director, then am
I
I
have no future goals
working my way
I can't even answer that question because I don't have a future goal.
But
Is that
you,
a concern for you though?
yeah.
Yes. How sad is it?
Some people
I mean, I have a goal for this company, but I have no growth plan in this company. You know what I'm saying? I cannot promote myself already.
This feels like a call for help. Huh?
No, I really don't know what I want.
Do you want to talk about it?
No, please move on. Then,
So number 4 is challenge. Have there been days where you were thinking about like a work problem in the shower so profoundly that I forgot if I use soap or not? So basically it's your work challenging you lah. Or you feel like you're very comfortable in your work day by day pass, like okay lor. Yeah, last one, community. Am I excited and happy to go to work every morning and see my teammates? Do I believe in the mission, vision, and leadership of
no,
this
I'm okay.
team?
honestly,
Sky driving me insecure. But not happy. He's like shaking his head on everybody.
Oh no! Next episode, you're not here.
the final Ketchup.
Oh no, no one can even do the intros, yeah.
You know, I can't say daily catch up like you. I really can't. I try at home.
I think it's very interesting that he managed to structure it and break down what people find in a job, right? And what essentially creates job satisfaction. And then he uses this as the metric to help people.
Wait, sorry,
to
but change
evaluate.
also doesn't mean to quit.
Yeah.
It can just be like you change
Talk to your boss and ask for a different position or take on more things.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's something that the younger generation also, like when things are broken, we throw away instead of fix.
Yeah, or run away from problems.
Oh, true.
And I feel like some people, I mean,
It's like cobblers, no job.
without this, right, I think some people will hone in on one problem one aspect that they're not satisfied with, and then because of
give
that,
up the
right, they
rest.
give up the rest.
The 80-20 rule.
Yeah. Correct.
Which is really 80-20 because 20% weightage. Okay, sorry.
So elegant.
So then you 60%.
60.
Yeah, okay.
No lah, it's just cause the achievement like 3 months is like too short a gap.
But what is an achievement though?
That's
Like,
right.
for example,
Yeah.
is leading a department still an achievement for you?
Not really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
But to other people, that's an achievement.
Maybe there's something that you've done that gave you like a sense of accomplishment.
So right, I fixed my plumbing like last week, right, and I felt like a plumber.
Yeah.
And wow, I was
That's
like,
your dream.
I started fixing everything else in the house. Yeah, and it was like, wow, some things are actually spoiled, but it was fine.
He has this fake plant. I went to his house for the first time today. He has this fake plant that looks like it's dying.
Huh?
I don't know how do you even achieve that. It looks,
That's a true
the plant just looks 30%
accomplishment right
dehydrated. But it's a fake plant that looks 30% dehydrated.
So basically, the dyingness of that fake plant looks realistic. That's how realistic it is.
That means it's amazing. It's a
It's
very good product.
ex-
Or it could be
Exactly.
real, for example, and it's just absorbing moisture off the aircraft. So there are many times in my career in trying to be boss. It's very strange, okay, to try and be boss. Last time I will make effort to say don't call me boss, Because like to me it's like this is what I wanted to do. There's no other company that wanted to do it the way I want to do it, so I start my own company. You want to help me or not? I pay you this amount. It always felt like a team effort thing. Then I realized expectation actually is not like this. There was a period where my HR was a mess, like my HR skill was a mess. And there were two things I got away from it. The first one is that be transparent no matter what. Because I had times whereby I was trying to shield certain things from colleague Y and X also so that they don't beat themselves up, because some people have a tendency to beat themselves up a lot. After that comes back to haunt me in feedback that I did not give. Because out of kindness, I thought it was out of kindness, but it was not kindness. Out of what I thought was kindness, that I did not give you the truth as it is. Yeah, at the end of the day, client dropped us. And we needed, by then, livelihood at stake. Someone needs to be accountable so that this does not happen again. So when we have that conversation, it feels new.
Right.
So my number one thing is tell it as it is. Like most people in life are not gonna be your friends. Only a small portion will be your friend. So those that are not your friends may not like you. Your friends may not like you. That's up to you to figure out and accept. Don't try and please everybody. Remind yourself you're running a business. That's what I do. There is principle number 1. Principle number 2.
A lot to unpack in that one. But yeah,
Wait, so number 1 is your friends may not like you.
No, it's transparency.
be honest.
Yeah. Just lay the truth as it is, right?
I got it.
The second one was that, this one will sound very brutal to say on camera. If it's not right, fire ASAP.
It's okay, right? It's like, as in to me, that sounded like if you meet somebody that you want to date, right? You know you're not right. Then if you don't break up, then you're just wasting each other's time, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same, like, it sounds the same to me in this situation.
It's a great way to think about it.
You know, you're wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, so I had also experiences whereby, especially during our earlier years, where we cannot even pay, let's say, a industry salary for this expectation, right? So you are the most senior person in this department, hence I made you lead this department at an agreed upon salary lah, right? But then there are times where you fall short, because to be honest, you are not this level yet, right? And so when you're not cutting it, I can choose to groom you since you decide to agree with my salary package, which was all we could afford back then, or I can swap you out and let you go. And there were far too many people than I like where I thought I was once again doing a kindness to say, how about we help you get there?
When you talk about like if there's no fit, like fire ASAP, I think it doesn't always have to be like the example. It could just be there's just a culture, like no fit culturally, or like vibe just doesn't check. I think if you don't like it's really hard to explain that, but it's really important, because if there's no good work chemistry, right, and like you let it go on for too long, like it will affect morale, it will affect productivity. It's just not healthy after a long time.
So hiring is really like dating.
It really is. It really is. But quite one-sided dating in that sense. It's like interviewing a sugar baby. Really. Day 1, the sugar baby is looking for money, correct? But week 3, month 5, the sugar baby is no longer looking for just money. You know what I mean?
purpose.
On the day,
for
day
purpose.
one of arrangement, right, is that sugar daddy looking for companionship, right?
Wait, this analogy is there.
No, it works out.
Let him get there.
Yeah, and said sugar baby is looking for money, right?
Go on.
A lot of efforts, yeah.
But sugar baby 5 months later
Cash
wants
feels.
more time.
Oh.
Cash feels, wants house, knows of another sugar baby, jealous. Then after a while, you start paying and you don't know what you're paying for. You're like, you're maintaining problems. You know what I'm saying? You continue paying this sugar baby.
But you can just let go.
Then it's like, hey, if I wanted this, I can stay with my wife.
Wait, this whole analogy is confusing.
It's all wrong already. It's all wrong. What's going on?
Wow, fits.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
He forced the foot into the shoe.
Okay, so like I think personally, right, I've been toxic in my work environments before, right? And it's something like somebody not happy about something that somebody else did, and then you all start to bitch about it. It's very similar. It's usually a bitch sesh, however. Then sometimes you will hear a different circle of bitching about another problem. In my head, I always think like, why you all like toxic, yeah? You're gossiping, and you're saying all this stuff shit. Then I look at them like, if you're not happy, quit lah, right? If you're not happy, leave. Then after a while, then I start to realize that, oh shit, I'm in the same situation.
Yeah.
If I'm not happy, quit. Why am I not leaving yet? Right? Then I started to process this, and it made me realize like, if you're really not happy in your environment, then quit. And if you're and if you still want to stay for whatever other reasons, right, then you have to deal with that shit yourself.
No, I don't think you have to deal with it. I don't think the answer is suck it up.
No, I know. You try to address it and you try to fix
Correct.
it. But if it cannot be fixed, then you need to accept that this is something that you have to live with because of all the other reasons why you want to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, lor. But you don't go and continue bitching about it. And I also think that people need to be very sensitive and careful to who is hearing what you are saying.
Yeah.
So sometimes like there will be people that say negative stuff in front of like new hires or new interns. Yeah, wow, that one is the worst. Yeah.
I agree.
Then you suddenly spreading this like weird attitude or even the way you talk about other people in front of them and all this kind of thing, right? And also because like all my experiences has been with like smaller companies, right? I do feel like there is no proper HR structure to kind of nip these things in the bud, or whether there are techniques like that actually exist. I also don't know. Okay, I think in larger organizations, it's very hard to trust the people that you're going to go and tell these things to, because who is paying the HR team salary?
Because they're snakes.
Yeah. It's the boss also, right? Then you also don't know where this is going to spread. They end up going to some other boss that's in charge of you, then you cannot one time. Or you cannot let go because, we just don't feel you align with this organization's vision or whatever shit that you, bye-bye, now I need to find a new job. Then you're scared to say, so you just don't say, then you suck it up. Which then, because you cannot tahan, you need to let it out, right? Then you go to your friend, the fellow intern, blah, blah, blah. Then,
But that's how you make fast friends though. Like,
Gossiping.
you make fast friends with strangers when you have a common enemy.
So my first day of internship, right, at my previous company, I remember this girl coming up to me, and then the first thing she said to me, because we have a mutual friend, she's like, hey, so and so damn irritating, blah, blah, blah. Then that was like her in with me, like to... Like, I'm the one person she knows through this mutual friend, and then she used that to leverage.
but did you instantly feel like, toit?
I instantly like, I would not want to be friends with this person. Because if to a stranger, right, me, you can go and say this kind of thing, right, and they are quite close. What's she gonna say about me behind my back? You know?
I don't know whether all this story should go out or not. I feel really bad talking about it. But I feel like the period or the audience where entrepreneurs can share these kind of things, right, is usually at points where you're talking to other entrepreneurs, so you help them to avoid these pitfalls.
Right.
Yeah, or like, so you can learn from my mistakes. Yeah, but the wider audience that actually needs to hear this, right?
Yeah.
I was being called a micromanager. That one really bothered me.
Why?
If it really bothers you, it means it's true.
No, because he like you yourself don't like micromanagers. Like.
No, not that. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say it's you, okay?
Let's
say it's you.
Then
I ask you to lead a position of which you're quite lost and we're not yielding much results. Right? And so I asked, perhaps you try this. Then you're like, there are a lot of things didn't work. The things that I let you try on your own didn't work. So when you show it to me, right, then I give you feedback. Next time you should do this. At the end of the day, number one, I could have said, fire you because you're not good enough for the job. Yeah. Or I can help you do your job better. Right? So that you feel useful, so that at the end of the year we can talk about, is there an accomplishment for you? Yes. Do you receive a bonus and incentive? Yes, because you did the work. Like, even though it came from me, but you did the work. I don't want to pay you and do your work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a damn shit feeling. So, but that was what I was doing for a good half a year, for some. And then after that, I'm being called a micromanager. Then it really broke my heart, that one. Because I felt like I should have let you go a long f***ing time ago. But it was because of your heart. The fact that we have open communication, or you telling me you are lost. I feel like it's not easy for my colleagues to come and tell me that they are lost. Like, they don't know what to do, they try everything. Because to me, I feel like you show hand to me. So whenever you show hand to me, right, I always want to see how can I do it differently. Because I want to assure you that I also don't know the answer. It's not like I know the answer and I'm keeping it from you. You're being paid to try everything. Yeah. Let's talk about what you haven't tried, then go and try. And then bite back to say I'm a micromanager, right? Then, that killed me. Wow. Then bam, create saga, create turmoil, create undercurrent, create one gossip group. Then I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was helping. I thought you understood where we were coming from because in our chats you seem to.
Right.
That one really breaks my heart.
This video needs to be company video. Play this episode at the town hall.
Like, it just seems like there's been a lot of like examples of toxic like workplaces recently. Like, I think Ubisoft Singapore was called out like internationally, right? Because apparently if you're a local, right, and you apply to Ubisoft, right, you apparently have just no chance of rising the ranks to become management because it's a French company and they only want the whole management to be French.
Wait, that's not toxic, but that's racist. Right.
Yeah, but you can imagine, so like what they do, right, is that they say that our company language, right, is English, but then halfway through, right, the management will just start talking to themselves in French, like while it's an official meeting.
Only for the Singapore office?
I don't know, but this was specifically an expose for the Singapore office.
That's an interesting like conversation that Singaporeans are having. Like, if they don't promote the locals to management, one could be the locals not good enough. If it's a pure language thing, it really means the company management is just not forward-looking enough and not recruiting the best person for the job. They are looking for the best French person for the job. That's to the detriment of the company. The company will pay for its own decision. Right. But had this company not come to Singapore, there might be 5,000 people that are software developers or game creators now that won't be software developers or game creators, game designers, which is what like the minister is trying to preach to Singaporeans. That these are certain things that we need to come to accept if we want them to set up a base here.
Right.
Because otherwise, how will we set up our first gaming company?
But that's like the entitlement that comes with development, right? Like if we were in the 80s and MNC came and many MNCs came, we were just grateful to have a job and be able to learn from whoever came into the country to teach us. But now that we feel like we're on par with every other developed country in the world, we feel like it's almost not fair that we don't get that same opportunity. It's almost that entitlement.
Then start your own.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I always think. If you feel like you can run it better, you can run it your way but be profitable, then set up your own because the world needs you to set up your own.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's this website that JP shared with me, how to identify and address, right, toxic employees.
What are you trying to say to you?
Yeah.
He sent to you.
No, the website that I read.
fucking stir shit.
I read the first three, right? I feel like I can relate. Like, it's me. I've done it before. But yeah, so these are the types of toxic employees, like, or colleagues, I guess.
Yeah, let us know which one you identify with.
So the first one is the gossip. Basically, like someone who's always trying to like develop friendly relationships, right? And then like spread like nonsense, like your friend lah. So like they will start things like, hey, do you hear that this person got a promotion? Then like trying to make other people feel jealous, just to like stir drama, and be like the social butterfly, trying to earn social points from everybody for having the gossip.
So right, if there's somebody like that, and then you and your fellow colleagues who are the not toxic ones, right, identify that, then you all both talk about that person. Are you the toxic one? Have you become the thing you hate the most?
No, I think the rule of thumb is before you talk about it with anyone else, you should talk to that person first.
But what if that person is a bitch?
I think to be classified as the gossip, right? This is internal hate rules lah. I think you need to be gossiping about more than one person. If it's just one person, then it's fair. I think it's a complaint. But once you start talking about 5 people, right, you're a gossiper.
What if you're gossiping about one person over like 10 different issues?
Okay, so let's put a time frame also. One person,
tired.
2 issues max, 1 week. The next one is the yes person. So like someone who will say something like, that sounds great if you say so. Basically someone who always agrees whenever there's meetings or whatever. They are just highly agreeable. They never add to anything. They never add value. They never bring anything to the table.
Why is that toxic? Isn't that just...
Because they are someone who put in
minimal effort.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't phrase that right. They will always be someone who will There will be someone who will always put in the minimal effort to get things done and nothing more. There are someone who won't take initiative. They'll just be like, oh yeah, okay, let's go with that. Just some other examples is like the procrastinator. So someone's always like lacking motivation, always pushing things to the last minute. The narcissist, so someone who says like no one in the company can do what I can do. So like I have that power, over everyone else. The grump. Oh, he's almost like a pessimist. Like why do things always happen like this all the time? And it's always like
this one always
complaining about things. Yeah, like the water machine not working, the internet not working, and last but not least, the know-it-all, the sage. So like whenever like someone tells them something, they cannot accept it. They think that they know better than the other person. They have an answer for everything also.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, right, like understanding whether you're happy or unhappy with your job, right, is mostly internal. It's determining what are your priorities, what are you looking for. Like if you're trying to pursue something that you just have to stay in the company for, right, is that the key thing? And then are you willing to sacrifice the other things along the way, like your pursuit of, for example, settling down, having a family, and all that other stuff, right? If that is what you're willing to sacrifice, then you continue, lor. But if it's not, then you need to find something else already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think the chart that we brought up earlier was like great lah.
I think that was very, very useful.
Yeah. I think people should go and do this thing and then you just do
to evaluate.
Yeah.
I mean, I will add one more lah. Can I find another job or not?
That's true.
No, you do that first. Then if really it's like negative all the way, right? Then you start looking for another job lah. Yeah. But at least you understand why you're not happy with your current job.
Don't quit your job just because you're not happy. I feel lah.
Yeah, that's why the article ends with change does not mean quit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're in full control of your own circumstances. For the most part.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, communicate with your boss. With your boss, communicate with your employee, and like let's try and make a better place for everybody, lah. Right?
And for the most part, really, is you choose your own environment. So if you're really not happy with your environment, then go and change it, lah.
And check yourself.
Before you wreck yourself.
Wow, right.
I knew it, you can say it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you watch, remember to sub and like, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.